Time for our politics panel. Joining us back in the Auckland studio this week, National's Erica Stanford and Labour's Willow Jean Prime. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you both. Now we've got some numbers on education this week which are proving quite a little bit controversial, because are they groundbreaking, as the government claims, or are they kind of rigged, as some unions are claiming? Willow Jean, I want to know from you first what your take is on this, because on the face of it they look incredibly promising, these numbers.
So I first want to acknowledge that any improvement in our results is a good thing and that should be celebrated and welcomed. But I have seen criticism and concern and questions actually about the information that has been presented. What I've seen maths experts, I have also seen the New Zealand Principals Federation asking for a please explain, and I think it's really important that parents have the correct information about exactly what has happened here and what those results are, and I think that the Minister should respond to that.
All right, well, let's tell people what the results are first, because I haven't done that yet. So let's take a look. This is the Maths Acceleration Trial for Years 7 and 8 students. They managed to leap, in terms of progress, 1 to 2 years ahead of where they were after 12 weeks of the acceleration trial. There was also another group of students, not in the acceleration trial, who leapt a year ahead in 12 weeks by focusing on an hour of maths a day and by using new materials and instruction. Minister, is this groundbreaking or is this rigged?
Well, if it was rigged, I'm an extraordinarily good politician, my friend. We had independent psychometricians and experts design this trial. And what we knew was, if you miss the really core basic foundations of maths, which are things like place value, rational number, your word problems, things like fractions and your times tables, if you miss those really crucial things, you can't go on to do higher order things like algebra and measurement and geometry and all that. So you've got to get those right. These children were more than a year behind the curriculum, so really far behind where they needed to be. And we analysed all the data, so our PAT tests, our ASTL data, we talked to New Zealand AIMS, which is the Association of Middle Schools, and we knew that the really core part they were falling behind in were those things. So we focused on those 4 core aspects, which are the core building blocks of maths, intensely over 12 weeks. Now, the in-person group we knew would create really good results, because when you've got a teacher and a small number of students doing 4 times a week, 30-minute sessions outside of regular maths, we would expect big gains, and we did. We saw it, but not as much as we saw. I mean, it was 2 years worth.
Which is the part I think people go, well, that sounds too good to be true.
Do you know what? No, let me explain, because you wanted me to. So let me explain the data, right?
Yes.
So we took out, because I can see what some of the commentators have been complaining about, but actually they've not listened to what the Ministry have said. We took out assessment questions out of ASTL that we knew were aligned to the curriculum, the new curriculum.
So you got some questions.
So we used those, exactly the right ones to match the curriculum. We tested them at the beginning, we tested them at the end, then we tested them again after 12 weeks to make sure those results had held.
This is the point. So the Principals Federation says you ask the kids the question at the start of the 12 weeks, then you ask them the exact same questions at the end of the 12 weeks, and how do you know they've actually learnt how to do the equation, 1 + 1 = 2, whatever, and they're not just repeating back to you the thing that they...
The thing that they remember from an assessment 12 weeks ago? You reckon 10-year-olds are going to remember quite a big test that they did 12 weeks ago?
I don't. I believe you. I believe what the Ministry has said, because, as you say, then 12 weeks late after that, they ask them again.
That's why psychometricians designed this, to be exactly right in terms of what we do when we assess kids.
Do you accept that? Do you think that what the Minister is saying is legitimate, that these are valid results now?
No, I think I still share the concerns that I have seen from maths professors, also from the New Zealand Principals Federation. What they have pointed out is that what we have here is potentially a case of teaching to the test, and so therefore, of course, you are going to get better results from that. What's important to also highlight, as the Minister has kind of vaguely explained here and maybe left out, is that this is one of 6 areas of maths that is taught in the curriculum that has been focused on and tested. So to claim 1 to 2 years for students for maths is, I think, a bit misleading, because it's for one area
you claiming that?
We said very clearly in all of our communications that these were the areas that we assessed.
Well, I think parents need to understand that.
Yeah,
It's
no,
one
to be
area.
fair, they did say that.
Yeah,
But,
we did
but
say
to
that.
your point, Will and Jean, do you think that that a kid who learned something 12 weeks ago will then remember the answer 12 weeks later?
Well, this is the concerns that we're hearing from the sector.
But what do you think?
This is the sector are the experts, the teachers are the experts, and the concerns that the teachers have is that we end up in a situation where we are teaching to the test to produce results to show something works. But what
the
you did
Principals
say at the
Federation,
beginning-
I just want to say the Principals
psychometricians are
Federation.
also the experts.
The Principals Federation has said that while they did not deny the maths intervention would have a positive impact, they questioned the evidence provided and whether the program was the best use of the education budget. To me, that's outrageous, because what else should we be using an education budget for than to be making kids smarter at maths?
Well, I think to add to that, so what we have here is a result that has been shared with everybody when the final evaluation has not been completed, when we haven't had any independent assessment of that final evaluation. So to be able to determine whether this is the best spend of $40 million, which, by the way, is not actually getting to all of the students who need it. I asked the Minister to use her maths and tell us on those children who had those failing results before, what would the true cost be to provide this to those students so they can see those results.
Oh my Lord,
it's
so
far
there's
more than $40 million.
a lot going on there that's not true. We didn't spend $40 million on the trial.
That's what you've budgeted for. No, going forward, it's $40 million to expand this program.
We'll let the Minister address this.
Let's take there's a whole range of things going on here. Firstly, the New Zealand Principals Federation. They wrote a letter in 2021 complaining, when their president was Perry Rush, complaining about the dire state of mathematics, how terribly awful it was. They wrote an open letter. Now, nothing came of that. Previous government didn't do anything. No new curriculum, no new resources, no trials, no PLD for teachers, literally nothing, and our results went backwards. We've come in, new curriculum, new resources, new internationally benchmarked levelling to make sure our kids are on par with everyone else, an hour a day, remove distractions, and now we're focusing on these kids who are more than a year behind to catch them up, to give them the very best start in life. We went to expert psychometricians. I didn't design it, the Ministry didn't design it, expert psychometricians. Leanne Ottany from the New Zealand Principals Federation is not a psychometrician, so I will take their results and their analysis over hers any day.
Okay.
Because let's face it, this has become very, very political.
It has become political.
And actually, you know what, no, can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
Because
go
the
on.
thing that, Labor are not attacking me. Leanne is not attacking me. Do you know who they're attacking? The principals and the teachers in the classes who have been getting these results. It is disrespectful to them for these amazing results that they have worked so hard for over the last little while, and I just think it's
Here's
really
the problem. Here's the
disrespectful.
problem, because there'll be parents at home. Like, this is the most important issue for the future of the country, and there'll be parents at home going, well, I don't know, you might be in one of two schools of thought. One, we can just keep doing what we're doing and just hope that things turn around. Clearly that wasn't working. Or you can try some stuff. You might have to break some stuff, but you can try some stuff because we need to do something. Is this not something worth trying?
I just want to respond to what the Minister said there. I am absolutely not attacking the teachers and the students. We are challenging the messages that we have heard from the Minister and from the Ministry and testing the robustness of what has been presented to parents and the education spin here.
But when there's no policy from the left on education and they've got no idea, all they can do is go straight to, oh, well, it must be the methodology, it must be the data. They did the same thing with the phonics check.
All right,
Well,
let's move on. Lake Alice, the
They
privacy.
just can't handle good results. It's a shame, because parents deserve this, and so do our kids.
The privacy breach for Lake Alice survivors. I saw the story and I just went, oh.
You went that.
Well,
I had the very similar but much worse reaction.
Did you?
Of course.
So how do you stop it from happening? And actually, not just in this case. This case is egregious because these people have suffered so much at the hands of the state already, and then we go and release their names. Yeah. But for anyone who's giving the information to the government, how do you stop it from leaking, being sent in an email, being hacked? Yeah,
well, especially, look, it was a very simple and extraordinarily avoidable mistake. We had spent the last 2 years, especially certainly the last sort of 15 months, with the Lake Alice survivors, ensuring that firstly we apologised, we acknowledged that there was torture, we've created a redress system that has run extraordinarily well. I put so much effort into making sure we had the right person in Paul Davidson to run this process. We've held the results back for a while to give the survivors time to digest it and understand it and give them space. I have worked so hard at the very last minute, on the last day, before we actually put the report out there, to have someone CC everybody, as you can imagine, is after I've been trying to build back the confidence of these people who have, not been confident in the state.
This person obviously feels terrible for accidentally.
Well, yes, but the point is that who feels worse, that person or the 32 survivors?
Is that person going to lose their job?
Well, I have firstly called the Chief Executive of the Crown Response Office into my office immediately, and I told him go straight to the Privacy Commissioner because this is a serious breach. And then I called the Public Service Commissioner, and I'm drafting a letter at the moment to the PSC, who are their employers, outlining my concerns because this is an employment matter that they will need to
They'll have to deal with.
It should never have happened.
Willow Jean, I mean, it's not a political thing. This is just an awful situation for any survivor to go through.
It is an awful situation. It's absolutely appalling. And what I would also mention is that this is the second serious privacy breach for Royal Commission abuse and care claimants. We had one reported earlier this week for the release of information under an Official Information Act where 5 people's private details were exposed on the internet. So the question to the Minister has to be what is going on within that system, and she needs to take responsibility for that.
Do you? Yeah,
well,
you do.
Yeah, that's what I've done, all the things that I've done. Thank Lord.
Now,
On the other one.
reforms for local government or regional councils, getting rid of the regional councils, Labor keen on that?
Well, Christopher Luxon campaigned on giving locals more say in local government, and these proposals are doing the complete opposite of that. Before I came to Parliament, I was a Far North District councillor, and in fact, we had quite the conversation about becoming a single unitary authority in Northland, and at that time, there wasn't community support for that. So Christopher Luxon promised more say for locals, and now this proposal seems to be taking that away.
But then
Karen McAnulty was pretty positive about it.
I'm just reporting what I heard and saw when I was a councillor in the Far North.
But the thing is, no one votes for the councillors, which in my mind is a vote of no confidence in them. Otherwise, we would, turn up and cast our vote and actually give a damn. I don't know.
I think that's really unfair to those people who are serving our communities both at local, on the district councils and on regional councils.
You're not going to be winning any fans.
Historically, voting has always been lower in local government, but they do a really important role for our communities.
Charge us rates.
Well, I think the point is that there's a huge amount of duplications, a huge amount of inefficiency and waste, and if we can get those mayors who know their communities best to do this, it'll be a much better outcome. But look, we're out for consultation, so people can have their say. Well, Jane, you can have your say online. Look forward
Submit,
to it.
and then we'll leak all your details. That's what hey, either of you want to be a leader one day?
No, good Lord. I want to be Education Minister for the next 10 years. I keep telling you that, my friend. I've got a lot more work to do.